Ladies and gentlemen, hold onto your seats because the NFL world is absolutely on fire right now, and the center of this football earthquake is none other than the Dallas Cowboys. I'm talking real, shocking, franchise-altering news coming out of the Star in Arlington, Texas, news that no one saw coming this early in the season. Yes, you heard the thumbnail and title right. A star player has reportedly been cut, and this isn't just some practice squad shuffle or minor depth chart move. This is a full-blown, headline-dominating, locker-room-shaking decision made by none other than Jerry Jones himself. And as we've come to expect from Jones, when he moves, it isn't quiet. It's loud, it's calculated, and it always comes with fallout. This isn't just a story about a football player losing his job. This is about the shifting power dynamics in the NFL, a billionaire owner tightening his grip on his legacy, and a fan base that's simultaneously shocked, outraged, and maybe, just maybe, starting to wonder what the Cowboys are really becoming. So here's what we know. Over the past few weeks, there's been tension simmering just beneath the surface in Dallas. Despite their competitive record, reports have swirled about certain stars being unhappy, questioning their role, or showing signs of discontent, whether it's about playing time, scheme fit, contract disputes, or even subtle friction with coaches and staff. The media picked up on the whispers, but nothing was confirmed. That was until today, when multiple internal sources began leaking that the Cowboys were preparing to release a high-profile player, a cornerstone of their system, someone whose jersey you might see in every Cowboys store across the country. And now, with the confirmation from insiders coming in, it's clear this move is real, and the implications are massive. Jerry Jones, never one to shy away from drama, has made the call. He has, reportedly without much hesitation, authorized the immediate release of this player, despite the potential hit to the salary cap, despite the looming criticism, and despite the emotional attachment that fans have to this player. And let me tell you, this isn't just about one guy being cut. It's about the message it sends to the rest of the team: no one is safe. It doesn't matter how many Pro Bowls you've made. It doesn't matter how many touchdowns you scored, how many sacks you registered, how long you've worn the star on your helmet. If Jones thinks your time is up, he will pull the plug. And this, my friends, was a plug yank heard around the league. People are calling it ruthless. They're calling it calculated. And many are asking, why now? Why mid-season? Why when the Cowboys are still in the playoff hunt, still trying to establish rhythm, still trying to build momentum into the postseason? The answer, according to people close to the situation, lies in a perfect storm of circumstances. First, the financial situation. The Cowboys have been juggling a top-heavy roster for years, shelling out massive contracts to elite players on both sides of the ball. Quarterback money, receiver money, edge rusher money, cornerback extensions, it adds up, and fast. With the salary cap being tighter than ever, and a handful of massive renegotiations looming on the horizon, especially with young stars looking for top market deals, someone had to be sacrificed. Jones has said time and time again that he runs this team like a business. And in business, if a product is no longer bringing value equal to its cost, it gets pulled off the shelf. But this wasn't just about money. No, there were deeper layers at play. From what we understand, this player had recently expressed displeasure with his role, had possibly missed team activities, or had disagreements behind closed doors about how the Cowboys were using him. And let me be crystal clear here in Dallas, that kind of dissent does not go unnoticed. Jerry Jones is a man who values loyalty and presence, not just talent. He wants players who are bought in completely, physically, emotionally, culturally. Anything less, and you're playing with fire. Now, whether or not this player crossed that line, that's still murky. Some say he was simply frustrated, as any competitor would be. Others suggest this was a long time coming, that he had been drifting away from the locker room vibe for a while. Either way, it seems Jones saw enough to make the call. The Cowboys front office is now spinning it as a move for the future, saying it opens up opportunities for younger players, frees cap space, and clears up distractions. But fans aren't buying it, at least not all of them. As soon as the news broke, Cowboys Nation absolutely erupted. Social media turned into a battlefield of emotions. Some fans were furious, heartbroken, even saying that this player had given his all, had sacrificed for the team, and deserved better. They're calling this the coldest move Jones has made since releasing Dez Bryant or letting Ezekiel Elliott walk. Others, however, are calling it a long overdue decision. They say this player had underperformed, hadn't lived up to his contract, and was more hype than results in recent years. To them, this isn't a betrayal, it's a wake-up call. It's Jones putting his foot down and saying, "We're chasing a Super Bowl, not sentimental stories." But no matter where you fall, the ripple effect is undeniable. This move shakes the locker room. It shifts the chemistry. Players will look around and realize again that the NFL is a business, and that even stars can become expendable. Coaches will now have to adjust their playbooks, rotate different guys in, maybe even overhaul schemes. And yes, let's talk about the coaching staff here. There's a chance, some say, that this wasn't entirely Jerry's call. Or at least, not in a vacuum. Head coach Mike McCarthy, who is constantly walking a fine line in terms of job security, may have voiced his frustrations about this player, or maybe felt pressure from higher-ups to get more out of the position. Maybe this was a power struggle. Maybe it was politics. But whatever the reason, the result is the same: a star is gone. And get this, other teams are already lining up. Yes, in this league, talent is always in demand. It doesn't matter if you were just cut. If you've got even a flicker of star power left, there are teams ready to pounce. Rumors are already flying about potential suitors. Could we see this player land in Philadelphia? In San Francisco? Maybe even in the AFC with someone like Kansas City or Buffalo? If that happens, if this player balls out somewhere else, the backlash in Dallas will be nuclear. Fans will be livid. Talk shows will go wild. And Jerry will have to defend this decision all over again. And here's the real twist: this might not be the only cut coming. That's right. Word around the league is that this could be the start of a broader roster purge. The Cowboys might be entering a transition phase, clearing out bloated contracts, refocusing on homegrown talent, and preparing for a new era built around their youngest stars. Players like Micah Parsons, CeeDee Lamb, Tyler Smith, these guys are the future, and Dallas might be clearing the decks to pay them big. But still, that's a hard sell when you're cutting fan-favorite veterans in the middle of a potential playoff push. Now I want you to imagine being in that locker room right now. Imagine walking into practice, looking around, and realizing that someone who's been a cornerstone of your unit, someone you've gone to war with, is gone. Just like that. No farewell tour. No final home game. No closure. Just an empty locker and a press release. That shakes people. That affects morale. And it's going to be on McCarthy and Jones and the veterans who remain to keep this ship steady. Because if the Cowboys stumble in the next few weeks, if they drop games, if the unit this player led suddenly falls apart, fans will point directly to this moment and say, "That's when it all fell apart." But and this is a big but: if Dallas gets stronger, if a younger player steps up and shines, if the chemistry improves, then this could go down as one of the boldest and smartest moves Jones ever made. That's the razor's edge we're walking here. It could be legacy defining for better or worse. And speaking of legacy, this move is another reminder that Jerry Jones is still chasing his. He's still hunting that elusive next ring. And he's willing to ruffle feathers, burn goodwill, and take massive risks to get it. Say what you will about him, but the man is not afraid to make the hard call. And today, that call was made loud, clear, and without apology. So now, the eyes of the football world turn to at NT Stadium. How will the Cowboys respond? Will the locker room rally or crumble? Will this move ignite a playoff run or trigger collapse? Only time will tell. But one thing is clear, the Dallas Cowboys just sent a message to the entire NFL, and the shockwaves are just beginning.